Hi, I'm Teacher Melody of Igama Colleges Foundation Incorporated, your contemporary art teacher. In our last video, we are already tackled about the national artists and their contributions to particular areas. So for today's lesson, we are going to study about the elements of art and principles of contemporary art forms. So the element of arts are all around you all the time, from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep. Reviewing them will make you more conscious that they are part of the environment and everyday living. Being aware of the elements educates your senses and enriches your lives. Hopefully, after reviewing them, they will be stored in your memory and you shall be able to retrieve them when you find cause for them and when you start creating your own pieces of art. There are 6 elements of art. What are they? First, we have the space, line, shape and form, color, value, and texture. So, let's go back to the first element, which is the space. A space in visual arts can be defined as a void, an emptiness which can either be positive or negative. The positive space refers to a space enclosed in a shape or which means the main focus area, while the negative space denotes the opposite or it is the background of the artwork. Moreover, in other art forms, space can be referred to as interval or pause. For example, in music, it is the interval between the notes, whereas in literature, it is the pause between words. So we have the next element of art, we have the line. So what is line? Line is the extension of a point, a short, long mark drawn or carved on a surface. It is implied path suggesting direction and character. In direction, we have the vertical line, horizontal line, the diagonal, curve, and the circular line. And in character, we have the jog, dots, or the broken lines. So let's go back to direction lines. We have the vertical line. A vertical line appears poised and stable. For example, we feel that straight tree is strong and that person who stands tall is one who has confidence in himself. So we have the next direction of line. We have the horizontal line. Horizontal line creates an impression of serenity and perfect stability since we associate with reclining forms in nature, such as a sleeping person or with the horizon. We also have the diagonal line. The artist can convey a feeling of unrest, certainty, and movement. Example, implies action. A man who is running bends forward assumes a diagonal position. A tree is about to fall takes a diagonal direction with a diagonal lines. Next is curved line. A curved line results when there is a gradual change of direction because it is gradual. Example, it shows fluidity we see in the curves of a woman's figure in the rounded petals of flowers and in the shape of crescent moon. Next direction of line is the circular line. It is the abrupt change of direction. The abruptness creates tension and an impression of chaos, confusion, or conflict. Example, the circular line with plants. It is easy to pinpoint line in painting, drawing, and other artworks of the similar type, but in the other types of art such as performing arts and literary arts, a line is described differently. In theater, a line may refer to the script of the actor. In dance, it is a series of steps that a dancer makes. So let's proceed to the next element of art, which is shape and form. When the ends of a line meet, they form a shape. Shape can also be described as a figure separate from its surrounding area or the background. Shapes may be natural, abstract, and non-objective. So we have the natural shape. Natural shape, those we see in nature, such as shapes of men, animals, and trees. They may be interpreted realistically or they may be distorted. Distorted means twist out of shape. So let's proceed to another shape, the abstract shapes. Abstract shapes are formed after the artist had drawn out the essence of the original object and made it the subject of his work. So we have the non-objective shapes. Non-objective shapes seldom have reference to recognizable objects, but often they may show a similarity to some organic forms. Take a look with the following examples. What kind of shape is this? Natural shape, abstract shape, and the non-objective shape. Form is slightly similar to a shape. It is an enclosed line, a figure separate from its background. But remember that shape is two-dimensional while form is a three-dimensional. For instance, the square is an example of shape and the cube is a form. Next, the circle is a shape and the sphere is a form. Next, we have the fourth element of art, which is the color. The color, probably the most striking art element that catches the eye, is color. It is a sensation created by visible wavelengths of lights caught in a prism. We have also the physical properties of colors. We have the hue, value, and intensity and saturation. Hue is the quality which gives a color its name. They are pure colors. Example, the hue of blue, the light blue, dark blue, bright blue, and gray blue. They are all hue of blue. So let's proceed to another physical properties of color. The lightness or the darkness of a color is called value. Adding neutrals such as black or white to any hue, for example, blue or red, results in changing the quality of light it reflects. Example, when black is added to red, results in dark red. When white is added, we get light red. So let's proceed to the last physical properties of color. We have the intensity or saturation. It refers to the quality of light in a color. Example, red, for instance, may be seen as bright red if only rays of the light are reflected. So let's proceed to another elements of art. We have the value. In visual arts, value is the degree of lightness and darkness of a color. In music, it is called pitch, which is the highness or lowness of a tone. Value is an element that must be considered about other elements such as line, color, texture, and shapes. These elements show some value contrast. Take, for example, the line made by a caricaturist which uses a pencil. The value of the line he draws depends upon the pressure he puts on his pencil hard. A darker tone is produced. If he uses it light, a lighter tone results. Similarly, deep missions on a piece of wood sculpture would appear darker than shallow scratches. And lastly, we have the texture. Texture is the surface of an artwork. A texture can be actual or tactile, meaning it can really be felt by touch, or it can be simulated or illusory, which means it can only see, not felt. In music or writing, texture is the quality or style of a composition. For the sculptor and the architect, texture results chiefly from the physical properties of the materials they use. Because contemporary art has moved away from the classical styles, it is sometimes hard to critique a contemporary work of art. Therefore, it is important to know the principles of design to be able to evaluate its art value. So we have the principles of design. Principles of design, sometimes called as organization elements. Design is the overall structure of an art form. It is a plan for order. It is the means by which artists indicate and demonstrate the ideas and feelings they wish to convey. So there are 7 principles of design. We have the harmony, variety, rhythm, proportion, balance, movement, and emphasis and subordination. Let's go back to the first principle, which is harmony. This refers to the wholeness of the design, the pleasing arrangement of parts, and the agreement between parts of a composition resulting in a united whole. For instance, if each of the elements in a visual work of art plays a vital role in the artwork, then the harmony is present. Next, in music, harmony is the combination of music notes simultaneously played to produce music. Next principle, we have the variety. Variety pertains to the assortment of diversity of a work of art. We can see variety in all of our surroundings. Take a flower as example. Flowers come in different colors, shape, and scent because every flower varies from one another. We also have the next principle of design. We have the rhythm. Rhythm is the regular, repeated pattern in the elements of art. It is a flow or feeling of movement achieved by the distribution of visual units or sound units in time. The beat can be regular or irregular, simple or complex. Rhythm or beat is natural in the universe. Example, it exists in the human heartbeat, in the cycle of night and day, and in the waxing and the waning of the moon. The next principle of design is proportion. Elements in a work of art should have a relationship with one another. This relationship is called the proportion. In a stage setting, the backdrop and the props must be appropriate to the performers without outshining them so that they do not steal the audience's attention. We also have the balance. Balance pertains to the even distribution of weight. It is the principle that deals with equality. In art, there are two types of balance: formal balance and informal balance. We have the formal balance or the symmetrical balance. It refers to two sides that are identical to each other. Example, as an example is a cross-sectional image of a butterfly. The spread wings of the butterfly shows balance in the image. On the other hand, informal balance or asymmetrical balance refers to two sides not identical to each other yet equal in visual weight. For example, the Japanese art of flower arrangement is a good example of design that uses asymmetrical balance. Let's move to the next principle, which is the movement. This is a fundamental principle in choreography and the theater arts. Movement is a way to convey feelings and emotions. For instance, the dancers make use of their bodies to express an inner condition. Actors express their lines through facial expressions, gestures, and body language as they move on stage. Movement is also a basic principle of nature. Example, there is the movement of time, of the tide, of the planets around the sun. So, we have the last principle of designs, which is the emphasis and subordinations. Emphasis is the principle that gives importance or dominance to a unit or an area. This is opposite to subordination, which give less importance to a unit or area. Example, in a classroom setting, the teacher often stands and faces the class, while the students sit at their desks neatly seated in the rows and columns. Another example, in the performing arts, actors and dancers are often placed at the front center stage, while the supporting cast stay on the sides or in the background. Those are the principles of design. Remember, these are only guidelines and the artists are not bound strictly to follow them. In the end, however, the elements and principles will appear naturally in their works. This is the end of our lesson. The complete information about the lesson is available in our LMS, Messenger, and Google platforms. Remember to send us your exit responses on our chat room following the given pattern. 3 things you learned today, 2 things you found interesting with this lecture, and 1 question you still have on your mind regarding the lesson. Rate also your understanding of today's learning by sending one of the following emojis: satisfied, happy, confused, boring, and sleepy. See you in the next discussion.